For many of you who are in partnerships, Lilith being in Libra, particularly being in Libra at the 26th degree, it's making us re-examine or perhaps pay greater attention to our partnerships. Lilith being in Libra really has brought partnership to the forefront of how we do life. As you know, Pluto in Aquarius is going to be a very dramatic, high change, high drive, fast pace transition for society as a whole. And in order to survive the avalanche that is Pluto in Aquarius, we all need partnership. We all need connection, because partnership is where we can get a lot of support and give a lot of support. As you know, Aquarius is a sign of friendship, right? So Pluto in Aquarius is calling us back to authentic partnership, authentic connection, authentic relationships. We're having the sun in Pisces. We're having the moon in Aquarius. Our Mercury is in Pisces. Our Venus is still in Aries. Our Mars is in Cancer. Jupiter is in Gemini. Saturn is in Pisces. Uranus is in Taurus. Neptune is in Pisces, and obviously Pluto is in Aquarius. Our North Node is in Pisces as well. So we're still with the same energy of yesterday, where we have an overabundance of Pisces energy, having it at the Sun, at the Mercury, at the Saturn, and at Neptune, as well as North Node. When we're looking at Lilith in Libra, we're basically asking ourselves, is this partnership equal? Is this partnership fair? Is this partnership equitable? Do I feel like I'm getting what I want from my partnership? And when Lilith is in Libra, people have to reckon with the fact that they haven't been in partnerships that are sustainable because they haven't been getting what they're giving. And partnership could be marriage, it could be friendship, it's just any type of human partnership. Or they're realizing that they have overextended themselves in partnerships that were not, in fact, solid. So there's a lot of conversation around partnership, togetherness. How do we do it? How do we do it in a way that is satisfactory, that is satisfying to both parties? And how do we do it in a way that feels fair to everybody involved? And for many people, the avalanche of emotions that come with Pluto and Aquarius combined as of Wednesday with all of this Pisces energy, Pisces Sun, Pisces Mercury, Pisces Saturn, Pisces Neptune, it's really forcing conversations around sensitivity. Here's a little secret from my work as a therapist prior to becoming an astrologer. A lot of relationships are not so much about being a perfect person or having a perfect partner. A lot of what makes relationship work is the union itself. So it's not about you or your partner as much as it is about the union and both people's ability to tend to the union. Because the relationship is why everybody's here. So when people come to relationship and they start to neglect the reason why everybody's here, which is the union, naturally that relationship is going to get frayed over time, and it's going to dissolve over time, and it's going to have shaky grounds. And as you know, any tree that is not deeply rooted, whenever a storm comes by, such as Pluto and Aquarius, it gets uprooted. It gets thrown to the side. It gets dismantled because it was never solid. Libra, as a zodiac sign, is seeking a relationship that feels equitable. Now, equitable doesn't mean everybody's always in their best mental health, everybody's always doing the very best that they can do, and everybody's always giving 100%. That's not what equitable means. Equitable means that there is an understanding that this is a place of energy exchange, and you come here to give and you come here to take, and you're constantly keeping track of how much you're giving and how much you're taking, not necessarily for the sake of giving people a receipt, but making sure that you yourself are staying on top of your giving and your taking. Relationships where there isn't an equitable amount of give and take are not sustainable, because those relationships are not about the union. They're about this person or that person. And relationships are healthy when both people are more invested in preserving the union, sustaining the union, than they are in stroking their ego. For a lot of people, relationships is where they come to work out their egoic nature. Now, having an ego isn't a bad thing. I'll be the first to admit that I have a big ego, and that's just how I am. However, when I'm in partnership with other people, I need to understand that not everybody has a big ego, okay? And those people that don't have a big ego may not be as direct and forthright in communicating what it is that they're wanting, what it is that they're needing. Hi, Scorpio 56. And what it is that they desire in relationship. So when you have a big ego and you're in relationship with somebody that you recognize has an ego that isn't as large as yours, part of that whole giving and taking is being aware of who you're dealing with and then making the adjustments that you need to make on yourself so that the energy that you're bringing to your person is equitable. Because for some people, the energy that you have, even though they love you, may be overwhelming for them. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be a different person, but you need to understand who you're dealing with so that when you're managing that relationship, you're calibrating how you're communicating your needs, based on what the other person needs. Hi! Thanks for coming to hang out. So, Lilith, currently being in Libra, is breaking people up. It's breaking up relationships. It's breaking up marriages. It's breaking up friendships. And yes, it's painful. And yes, it's difficult. But what's happening is that we're being asked to be more honest with ourselves about the nature of the relationships that we're in, how healthy or not healthy are those relationships, and what changes we need to make on ourselves to be able to bring our best selves to relationships. Scorpio 56 said balance and honest communication are essential. Exactly. Because a relationship is not where you come to get your ego stroked. If you are an insecure person and you think that getting in a relationship is going to raise your status in life or your vibration in life or your whatever you think, like it's going to make you look better, it's going to make you feel better, I'm telling you that is not a solid foundation to build a relationship upon. A relationship is a place of work. It's where you will get the most tested. It's where your true character is going to reveal itself. It's where your flaws cannot hide. A relationship is exactly where you will feel the most exposed, because you are in partnership with somebody who sees beyond your veil. When we're out there in the world, all of us know there's a certain decorum we have to subscribe to. There's a certain expectation for our behavior. So we all act the part. When you go to work, regardless of what kind of mood you woke up in that morning, your employer doesn't care what's, what's going on with you personally. They have an expectation that you come and you complete the task. And that is what they're paying you for. So that relationship is based on this task. So as an employer, and, I've been a manager before, and, humans sometimes bring their humanness to work. And a good manager can make room for that when people are having personal life issues. But, sometimes managers that are not very skilled aren't very good at managing the human that is in their employee. Because they're thinking, our agreement, our relationship is I pay you to do this task. So it doesn't matter if your family member died, it doesn't matter if your child is sick, they don't care about any of the other human things that you have going on that are getting in the way of you being able to show up at this job. So relationships, when they're healthy, they're not just about the contract. Yes, the contract is important. You know, you pay me, I come and I do this job. But they're also about the connection. And an employer that cares about their people, you know, a boss that cares about their employee, they care about you as a whole. It doesn't mean they're your therapist. But if you call them and you say, hey, I know I'm scheduled to be here at 7, but my kid is sick. They've been throwing up all night. I'm going to take them this morning to the hospital and make sure they're okay. They're not going to dang you for that, because they know you being a good worker is contingent upon you being mentally healthy, and being mentally healthy is contingent upon having a stable home life. You're not going to be able to come here and do your very best work if your kid is sick and they're throwing up, right? So back to romance and friendship. The same concept applies. The agreement may be the marital agreement that you two have agreed you're going to spend the rest of your days together until death do you part. That is the contract part of this conversation. Just like the employer example, that's the contract. But then there is the relationship part of this conversation, meaning, what can I do to become a better lover to you? And what can you do to become a better lover to me? So that we're both constantly working on the love. Because the point of the relationship is the love that is between those two people. So I bring that up because we're having an abundance of Pisces energy. Pisces, being exalted at Venus, is the lover of the zodiac, not in the sense that they're the most romantic like Libra, or in the sense that they have the biggest heart like Leo, but in the sense that there is a spiritual obligation on their lives to love everyone. Okay? Every zodiac sign has something written in their contract, a clause, if you will, that says you have to do this as part of this assignment. And for Pisces is to love everyone. When a person does not love themselves, they cannot love everyone. Because to love oneself is to recognize that you are flawed, that you have shortcomings, and that you're a mess sometimes, and that you do the wrong thing sometimes, and that you're an imperfect being. And when you recognize that you're an imperfect being, it's easy for you to identify that everybody else is an imperfect being, because you're a part of everybody else. So you're imperfect, everybody's imperfect. So the love then is not contingent upon perfection, which is what Virgo struggles with the most, because Virgo believes you need to be perfect before you deserve their love. Virgo and Pisces are sisters. Virgo struggles with the performance aspect of love. Virgo doesn't care if it feels good. They care if it looks good. And Pisces is here to teach us that loving everyone is more important than being right, which is something Virgo's still learning. Because Virgo wants to be right. Because Virgo wants to be the smartest. They want to be the one that's the most knowledgeable, the one that behaves the best, the one that looks the part, the one that is, Virgo wants to elevate themselves above others. And that's part of the reason why they have so many struggles in love, is because they don't understand that love is something that must be felt and experienced. It's not something that you perform. Virgo doesn't know how to feel love, so they perform love. And Pisces feels love, but oftentimes, because of the way that they've been raised or the life that they've had, they become very desensitized to their own emotions. Therefore, it's very easy for them to dismiss other people's feelings. You should never expect someone who does not love themselves to love you. You should never expect someone who does not care about their sensitivity to care about your sensitivity. It doesn't make sense. How would they know? How would they know that the things that you're saying to them hurts their feelings if they hurt their own feelings every day? Like that. And don't even blink about it. And back to Virgo, that's exactly the issue with Virgo. As harsh as Virgo is with everyone else, they're more harsh with themselves. And what Virgo needs to heal that is for them to love themselves, to love their imperfections. You know, all of that ugliness, the mess, the yuckiness, which is what Scorpio is so good at. Because when you get to Scorpio, we get into the spiritual realm. And that's when he gets less physical. It gets metaphysical as soon as we enter Scorpio. And Scorpio knows everybody has mess. This is why they're not obsessed with perfection, because they know being messy is a part of the gig. Because when you're too perfect, you're no longer human. You're not relatable. And nobody's supposed to be, nobody fits that. No one. And the ones that look that way are the ones you have to worry about, because you have to think about how much time they're investing in trying to uphold something that is not real. Because everybody has mess. Love is not about perfection. It's about acceptance. I'm going to say it again. Love is not about perfection. It's about acceptance. Thanks to you guys that are tapping on the screen. I appreciate it. That acceptance is extended. Hola, Morena. That acceptance is extended to others when we have it, when we feel it, when we vibe with it. You know, when I love myself, whole, flaws and all, when you show me your flaws, I don't judge you, because I know I have plenty of them myself. So your flaws make me feel seen because I see your flaws in me, and vice versa. So the love doesn't have walls around perfection. When you're Virgo, the love stops at imperfection. The minute you behave in a way that falls outside of Virgo's scope of what is appropriate, you're deemed unlovable. No more love for you, because you're not good enough to receive the love. You're not good enough for their love, because they believe that their love is only given based on your performance, your behavior, their definition of you being perfect. And when you're not in that quote unquote description, whatever that looks like in the moment, you know, you are barred from love because you don't meet the qualifications to be loved by Virgo at that point. You have fallen outside of that parameter. And Pisces, the sister of Virgo, being more spiritual than Virgo and less removed from the physical realm, understands that love has no boundaries. It has no limits. It's literally everything that we have. It's the only thing that we have. And it's the only thing we have left when it's all said and done. Because we don't get to take any of the material things with us. None of them. The only thing we get to take with us is our good karma. And our good karma comes from using our scales of judgment fairly. You know? And that's why Pisces is exalted at Venus. Because Pisces knows when the love is real, it's pure. And when the love is pure, it includes everybody. And it has no limits. And it never ends. So back to relationships. If you're noticing that you're struggling right now with relationships, and I bring this up because the moon is in Aquarius on Wednesday, and it's at the 7th degree, which is a Libra degree, which is the degree of relationships. Libra is obsessed with marriage because Libra's journey, spiritual clause, remember every zodiac sign has a clause, you must do this. Libra learns all the pain points of the human experience via relationships, intimate relationships. This is why the world is often very awful to Libra when it comes to love and relationships. They have the biggest betrayals from friends, the biggest betrayals from their lovers, the biggest betrayals from family members, basically the people closest to them that they're supposed to be doing partnership with. Those are the people that betray them the most, because their mission is to learn about this whole give and take in relationship. And it's good to be fair. It's good to be kind. It's good to be balanced. but it doesn't mean you can't have boundaries. And this is what Pisces struggles with the most. Okay, so let me break this down for you. With the moon being in Aquarius, we're being asked to first love ourselves in the manner in which we're asking for others to love us. When we don't love ourselves, it is an unfair ask. Okay, it's an unfair ask to ask the world to give us a love that we can give ourselves and that we're simply refusing to give ourselves. Do you guys understand? Because love is something we cultivate. It's like gardening. You know, we have to work at it because our natural disposition is to be selfish. That's why we're here. That's why we came to Earth. We came to Earth because we have some struggles with ourselves about how to do love. Because when given the option to, and they've done so many studies about this. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but one study that I've seen recently is people were asked this scenario. They were like, hear me out on this study, because when I heard of it, it just like blew my literal mind. People were asked, imagine a scenario where you apply for a job and you get the job, and they tell you, you are going to get paid $50,000 a year for this job. But then somehow you find out that everybody else is getting paid $100,000. Okay? Are you with me? You're going to get paid $50,000. Somehow you find out that everybody else or other people at their job are getting paid $100,000 for your position. Okay? That's one scenario. Another scenario, you apply for that same job and you're given, the offer is $25,000 a year, right? And somehow you find out that everybody else at that job is getting $50,000. Which job do you take? You guys want to guess what the average human decided they would take? And thanks to you guys that are tapping on their screen, I appreciate it. Anyone wants to guess which job people found to be the most desirable out of the two options? So let me repeat it again. Option one, they're offering you $50,000, but you find out that other people are going to be making $100,000 at that same job. Option two, they offer you $25,000, and you find out other people are going to be making $50,000. Which job do you take? Do you take the $25,000 job or the $50,000 job? What did you guys think most people chose? I'll wait. Someone said 50,000, 50,000. Scorpio 56 said the lower, and that is the correct answer. Most people chose $25,000. Most people chose $25,000. Why? Because they would rather suffer financially than to see other people be more abundant. They will literally hurt themselves by taking less money because they cannot stomach the idea of being at a job where other people are making more money than them. But so much so that they're willing to accept a lower offer, even though that theory of the offer being doubled for other people is consistent. If they took the $50,000 and other people making $100,000, they're still making $50,000. But they would rather take the 25 so other people can have less. And that is how a lot of people live life. Because it's not about the bettering of other people's lives. It's not about how do I collaborate with you to create something beautiful. It's not about that. They don't think about partnership that way, which is I have some skills, you have some skills. How do we bring them together so everybody's happy, as much as everybody can be happy? They think about it in terms of how can I make sure that I have the best? And if I cannot have the best, I will make sure that you have the worst. Do you see that? That kind of selfishness is in all of us. And it's something we always have to wrestle with. And this is why I love Moon in Aquarius so much, is because they don't struggle with that. They understand that this ride is short and there's a lot of BS that we have to deal with as a part of this ride. And the highest vibration is love. So before we get to Pisces at the Aquarius stage, we understand that real love is friendship. Because you can't claim to love someone and also not be a good friend to them. Because when you love someone, you're a good friend to them. And when you're a good friend to somebody, you love them. Because a good friend protects. They keep your name clean when you're not around. They're generous towards you. They tell you the truth. They're invested in your well-being. They want you to survive. So whatever they need to do for you to survive, they do it. Aquarius is not impressed by material things that most people are impressed by, because the content of your character is more important to them in general. And the level of your intelligence is more important to them in general. And for a lot of people, relationships are not around, how do we build each other up? How do we motivate each other emotionally, psychologically? How do we make the world a better place by bringing our resources together to do so? It's more about how do we dominate? How do we conquer? How do we compete? How do we keep everybody down so that we can make sure we're at the best? How do we elevate ourselves from others by creating this false sense of separation that we're not even realizing is false until we're being lowered into our grave? Because it's in that moment of being lowered into the grave that everybody remembers that they were not eternal in that form, and that they were in that form for a reason, and they had a job to do in that form. And this is why oftentimes the regrets and remorse that people have about life, they don't get it until they're much older. When they get much, much older, people tend to get more spiritual as they get older for this reason, because when people are younger, they're mostly in the physical realm. So we're dealing with heavily spiritual energy between this abundance of Pisces, Aquarius moon, which is the most soulful moon sign that you can find. This is why these people Aquarius moon are often rejected by their families. They can't wait to get away from these people as soon as they turn 18. They're the most judged people by their own family, because they're supposed to learn that the love that you're seeking is one you can give yourself. Okay? That's the journey of Aquarius moon. Aquarius moon, the reason why your parents couldn't love you or didn't accept you is not because they were bad people. You signed up for the Aquarius moon package. It's a beautiful package, okay? Yes, it's hell when you're little, when you don't have control, and when you don't have a say-so, and you're being raised by people who invalidate your humanity, who disrespect your humanity. That's what a lot of Aquarius moon childhood is. People who make you feel worthless. Even though they tell you they love you, they treat you like you're not worthy of the same kind of respect that they give themselves. This explains why when Aquarius moon is of age, they can't wait to disappear from their parents' lives. Like, they just want to run away as far as possible to another place where they don't have to deal with, all of this oppression. But the beauty of that experience is that it taught you how important it is to love yourself. Someone said, still working on embracing that so I don't just isolate myself. Yes, I'm glad that you're working on that. For Aquarius moon, it's a journey, but I need you to know that you're one of the most beautiful flowers among us, because that oppression that you got at the beginning makes you so much better later. A lot of people don't get that oppression in the beginning, so they don't get how much of a love drought a child can be raised in. All Aquarius moon kids, they were raised with a love drought by people who just couldn't give them love. And it gets worse when you get to Pisces moon, obviously. So just to express it on the bigger platform, once we get into the spiritual signs, starting with Scorpio, the love drought starts, and it just keeps going. It breaks at Virgo, but it gets like exponentially bad at Scorpio, and then it just keeps going, getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And by the time you get to Pisces, you're just pouring love into your parents, specifically mom, and you're getting none of it back, because she's not even looking at you. You're not even real. Your love isn't even, she's not even registering it. It's beyond her at this point, okay? So Aquarius moon has learned that even the people that you're related to by blood can hate you, can despise you, can resent you, can be ashamed of you, can feel grossed out by you, can disown you and not want to associate with you, would want to sever ties with you because you're different, and you being different is offensive to them. Okay? The spiritual journey of the zodiac starts from Aries, who's all concerned about themselves. Aries moon, very selfish moon placement. Not necessarily narcissistic, just selfish and needy. Pisces moon, very selfless moon placement. So as we go around, it gets more and more, we go from more selfish to more selfless. Okay? That's why Pisces is the most selfless. So at Aquarius moon, right before we get to Pisces, there's love for everyone. There's love for all. There's love for life. There's love for animals. There's love for everyone, because tenderness is important. We finally understand that everybody wants to feel loved. Everybody wants to feel included. And all of us are here to share love with each other and to give it freely and openly. This is why Aquarius is so generous with sharing information, because they know information is how you move your life forward. So, and they don't compete. That's the other thing. Aquarius is not so insecure that they feel that if you have something and they don't have it, it means something bad. They don't want what you have. They want what they want. Aquarius is very myopic in how they experience life because they've suffered the rejection early on. So they no longer associate their sense of self-worth with what the world out there thinks, or what the world out there wants, or what the world out there they're very, it's not that they're oblivious, but they're very it's like they've healed themselves. That's really what it is. They've healed themselves from the need to perform for other people's approval, because unfortunately for a lot of people, love isn't this genuine, sincere exchange of energy. It's something people give to get something. Love is a currency for a lot of people. They're treated like money. I give you this, you give me that. That's love. I give you this, you give me that. That's love. It's like this. So when in those kinds of scenario, when the person doesn't have it to give, they're denied love. It's like you can't afford it, so you don't have access to it. And for Aquarius, love is for everybody, whether you have the fee or not, because you're human and you have feelings. And that means you deserve humanity. You deserve to be honored in your humanity because you're a human being. And Aquarius understands, because they represent friendship in astrology, that all of us are here to learn how to be friends with each other. And to be friends with each other, we have to be fair. That's why Libra comes in. And that's why I'm such a huge proponent of marriage, because marriage is where you learn the ways in which you're unfair. You're not going to learn that out on the street. You're going to learn that in relationships that are intimate. Marriage, or in relationship with your kids. Because those people watch you 24/7. So you can't tell them who you are. They know who you are. They see who you are. You can't pen a new story over who you are. They have enough data to know who you are. So in marriage, we get to really be under somebody else's microscope. And we get to truly grow and evolve by analyzing our shadows, our flaws that the other reflects. Aquarius tend to struggle with the moon placement, especially in marriage, because they have learned how to feed themselves emotionally due to this emotional abandonment that they've suffered at a young age. So they no longer need other people to love them or other people to make them feel good. They simply love everybody, and that fills them up already. So the sun being in Pisces at the 7th degree is bringing back this conversation around how equitable is our love story, is our love connections. Are you being treated the way you want to be treated in your partnership? Because remember, the 7th degree is the Libra degree. It's about partnership. It's about friendship. It's about how do we exchange love. Give and take. Give and take. Some people think love, whether marriage or friendship or relationship, is about them and their selfish needs. So they engage with it for the purpose of getting what they want from the person. Like, I want this, you look like you have that, so I'm gonna go and pursue you so I can get that. And then when that person is not able to provide that thing anymore, and we see this often in marriages, you know, it's like somebody gets married, everything is lovely, the wife's body starts changing after she has a baby, or God forbid she has an illness, then suddenly the love that that man initially promised her, no, it's not there anymore. You know, they've done lots of studies where, you know, many women are deserted by their spouses after they get sick or chronically ill, or their body starts to change, or whatever the scenario is. Whatever the agreement was in the beginning, you know, based on the physical definitions of that, whenever, you know, one party is not able to uphold that, like let's say when he met you, you were a size 0 and he really likes women that are a size 0. When you become a size 6 or a size 8, he doesn't find you interesting anymore, because what he wanted was a representative. He wanted an object, like he wanted something tangible. It wasn't about your heart. Your heart is still the same in that size 8 body, but what he lost is the size 0 body, and that's the one he fell in love with, and that's the only body he's interested in doing partnership with. And this happens all the time, you know. This happens all the time in relationships, all the time. This is just one example, but there are lots of examples of this. You know, the way that people do love with conditions. And all of us do this. The goal is for us to awaken ourselves to those conditions, and to awaken ourselves to how those conditions are keeping us from really being in union with one another in a way that is loving, like platonic and loving. Because love isn't about sex. A lot of people confuse the two. Love is much deeper than that, and it's also not contingent upon performance. It's really a divine energy that flows through us and through everybody else. So when we meet other people who are alive like us, we get to share that same energy with them. It's just energy. It's just energy. The problem is when we poison it with expectations that the other person cannot live up to. So look at your astrology natal chart and look to see where you have Aquarius energy. Yes, Scorpio 56 said, yes, sacredness. Yes, love is sacred. It is pure. It's not about a contractual agreement as it is about a divine understanding of our oneness. We're one. All of us are one. We're literally one organism in different forms. So part of love is understanding that and making room for that. But it's hard to do that when we don't even value our sacredness. We don't respect our humanity. When we don't love ourselves, our attempts to do love with others are not going to be successful, because love requires kindness and compassion. Aquarius rising, yes, you're in good company. And the kindness and compassion we do not give ourselves is the same kindness and compassion we do not give others. And when that kindness and compassion is not being shared, the love dies. Because love cannot survive without nurturing. And the nurturing comes from the sensitivity, like this awareness that you're just as fragile as me. So I honor that fragility, and I honor that this connection is time limited, because we know we're not living forever in this form. We know eventually this form is coming to an end. So as a way to show respect for the opportunity to enjoy this ride, we treat each other nice. We treat each other fair. We treat each other kindly. And this is the energy that we're being brought into tomorrow. So Aquarius rising, tomorrow is a great day for you to do something different with your looks so that you can step into this new energy of being more real, more authentic, more raw, more yourself. Because how you look communicates a message to people about how you feel about yourself, okay? And I know this sounds a little shallow, but it's important. This is what Libra knows about love. You can't have good romance without shallow. You need shallow. You need lust. You need romance. You need beauty. You need superficiality. Like all of those things that add spice to life. But you can't live there. You know, it's like you taste it and you move on, but you cannot live there. So Aquarius tend to be very self-abandoning when it comes to their physical experience, because they're so in tune with their spirit. They don't care very much about their physical nature. So Aquarius rising, tomorrow is a good day for you to care about your physical nature and do something just for your looks, for your face, for love, for lust. Something that makes you feel young, that makes you feel outgoing, that makes you feel flirtatious, because there's a lot of Libra energy. So flirty energy is very good. Love doesn't last when it's dull, okay? You have to keep it interesting, okay? So flirtatious is good. Flirty energy is good. You know, like lustful energy is good. Like changing your looks to keep your lover interested and to keep yourself interested. Like all of those things are important. It requires effort. Aquarius is not very big on romance. And this is something that Aquarius rising has to work on, because you have all of the romance inside of you. You can't expect the world to give it to you when you can initiate it towards your partner. Aquarius, Mercury, 7th house. So for you, it's going to hit relationship, marriage, relationship. It's time to have some conversations around the balance of energies if you're in partnership. Within your marriage, do you feel loved? Do you feel supported? Do you feel that you have a friend in that relationship? And if not, what needs to change so that you can get to that vibration? So that's what you want to focus on. Let me see. I want to answer one more Aquarius placement, and that's going to be the last one that I answer. Where in your chart do you have Aquarius? And by the way, the person that has it in 7th house, you're going to be the most impacted, because the sun in Pisces is at the 7th degree. The moon in Aquarius is at the 7th degree. And we're going through Lilith in Libra, which is the 7th zodiac sign. So this theme of relationship, partnership is huge right now. So if you have any friendships, connections, relationships that are not equitable, that are not fair, that are selfish in nature, they're going to fall through the cracks. They're going to disappear, because it's either you're going to make love selfless or you're going to not have love, because love is not selfish. Okay? Pisces, Venus, 8th house. Yes, 8th house, you're going through it. Yeah, the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, and it is about destruction. It is about undoing of what's fake. You know, Scorpio cannot thrive with fakeness. They need real, raw, sincere energy. And unfortunately for Pisces, Venus, there is a lot of fantasy that Pisces brings to love that isn't rooted in anything that we can work with. You know, love can be a beautiful thing if we can work to make it so. But when we're in denial about the selfish ways that we have, or the selfish ways that we treat others, we can't work on it, because we're not in this reality. And this is why I always tell people manifestation requires a solid foundation. It's like a structure. You know, think about it. So we have a square at the bottom, right? Just imagine this structure. The square at the bottom, this is Cancer. Cancer is a 4th zodiac sign, which represents the home. So that's square, solid foundation, right? And then we're trying to get to Leo. Leo is one of the best manifestors of the zodiac, because we're ruled by the sun. The sun is very bright. Leo knows how to throw their energy around to get their way. So that's the 5th point. At this point, we have a square at the bottom and a triangle at the top. In order for us to get to Leo, we have to have a solid foundation. When a person does not feel secure in their sense of self, which the home in this case represents their body, all that they are, you know, like confident in themselves, their essence, it's hard for them to reach for the stars. And Leo energy is all about reaching for the stars. So love needs a solid foundation for it to grow and evolve over many, many years. But it's not possible to get there. We can't reach that state if we're not even grounded in what's real. You know, that grounding in what's real is what gives us, it's what gives us the leverage to take chances. Leo only takes chances because they're confident. And that confidence comes from feeling secure. Because when we feel secure, we can take more risk. When we don't feel secure, we cannot take risk. So a lot of times we come to partnership with our insecurities, wanting the other person to fix them for us, which Aquarius knows that is a foolish task. Because if you can fix it yourself, why are you expecting someone else to do it for you? Hi, Jenny Mac. Thanks for coming to hang out. And what makes you think they're going to be better at it than you would be at it yourself? That's the other thing. Nobody else is living inside your body. No one knows what you go through. Yes, you can talk to people about what you go through, but nobody knows what it's like to be you. So why would you trust somebody else who lives outside of you? Hi, sweet lady. Thanks for stopping by. Who lives outside of you to be better at loving you than you? Now, make that make sense. How are they supposed to be better at it than you? Why would they be better at it than you? What makes them superior in their ability to love you than you? So even though they don't have access to all of your innermost intimate thoughts, and they don't have access to all of the reflexes or the body agency to actually change your life around, you somehow believe that they have the capabilities to outdo you in your ability to love yourself. And simply because you married them, now it's their responsibility to make you feel good every day. We need to be fair in the way we do love, okay? We all have family traumas that we bring to life, that life has given us, that we bring to each other. It's our responsibility to deal with those things so we don't pass them on to others. And for many people, unfortunately, they don't want to deal with those things. They just want to act it out in the relationship. And they want their person to be always available and always ready to absorb whatever toxicity they're giving them because of their own unresolved issues. And what Lilith in Libra is saying is that is unfair. Because if you have these internal issues, you need to work on them so you can love yourself more deeply. Because it's only then that you're going to be ready to love somebody else fiercely. Because love is fierce. It's bold. It's fearless. Aquarius is the type of person that will have your back when you're not around because they don't love you for what they get out of you or the appearance or the association with you. They love your soul. When Aquarius moon loves you, they love your soul. And that goes for Aquarius sun, moon, and rising. So when your soul is no longer vibrating with their frequency, that's when they fall out of love with you. Aquarius is not going to stop loving you because your body ability changed, because your skin color changed, because your language changed, because your political affiliation changed. It doesn't matter. Like these things that people focus on that divide them, Aquarius doesn't really care as much about those things as they care about your personal ethics. Your ethics. How do you do life? What is your code of ethic and how you treat other people? Do you treat people differently who are from a different social class than you? Do you treat people differently that speak a different language than you? Do you treat people differently because they're from a different religion than you? Do you treat people differently because politically they have a different opinion than you? Do you treat people differently based on how they look? Based on superficial factors that can be changed like that? All it takes from being able-bodied to not having an able body is literally one moment in your life. It's a fraction of a second in your life. And your entire structure is different. I'm so grateful that I've had the opportunity to go from being somebody that was actively healthy, actively working out, to getting diagnosed with a chronic illness, because it's shifted my perspective on this sense of safety and comfort that we give to ourselves when it comes to our bodies. Many of us don't understand that our bodies are very fragile, and all it takes is really one moment for your bodies and your physical abilities to look completely different. But when the love is real, though, it shouldn't be contingent upon what size you wear. It shouldn't be contingent upon how white your teeth are. It shouldn't be contingent upon your body abilities. Someone said sorry to hear that. No, not sorry. Actually, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Because before that, I was so disconnected from my own feelings. It actually freed me. So, yeah, I know what you mean, but you don't have to feel sorry. God gives us everything that we need so that we can evolve. And it's definitely freed me from so much that I struggled with before. Remember, I have a Virgo Mars, okay? So when I talk about Virgos, I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about myself and the things that I've had to work through. So back to this idea of love. When it's pure, it's not contingent upon things that you can't control. The family you were born in, you can't control it. The color of your skin, you can't control it. How you look in the face, you can't control it. What your body can and cannot do. You know, like these things that are, yes, because the Aquarian love is a soulful love. It's a karmic love. It's an old type of love. It's a love that has been done a million times over and over and over again. It is about your frequency. When your frequency is no longer in alignment with theirs because it's lowered, that's when Aquarius disconnects. But it's never going to be because of a superficial thing that is outside of your control. Now, your frequency is within your control. How you choose to show up in the world, how you treat yourself, how you treat other people, how you talk to people, all of that is within your control. Yes, Aquarius will sometimes be outlandish, just for fun, wild and crazy, because Aquarius is an air sign after all, and it's ruled by Uranus, so there is a lot of eclectic energy here. So yes, Aquarius is going to be out of pocket, just for fun. They say all sorts of crazy things just for fun. But when it comes to decency and what it means to be a human being and how we should all treat each other, Aquarius is never confused about these things because they see themselves in everybody they meet. This is why Aquarius is actually the #1 zodiac sign most likely to marry outside of their race, their culture, their language, their religion. All of those factors that you guys care so much about, we don't give a shit about it. We never have, we never will. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, they don't care about these things. And it's boring to us, to be honest, because it's like a lower level conversation. Like, oh, you have a round nose. Oh, you have a long nose. Oh, you have thin lips. Oh, you have fuller lips. Like, what is this, like kindergarten? What are we doing? Are we like yellow, blue, red, yellow, blue, red? Like, at some point we have to evolve and transcend these limitations. At some point we have to decide everybody's human. Now, how can I be the very best human being that I can be? Yes, as someone said, I'm like, bruh, who cares? Exactly. Because what's going on in your heart is more important to me than what's going on outside of you. Because I know this outside of you, this package, #1, is not even yours. That's why when you die, you leave it here. Because if it was yours, you would have taken it with you. It's not yours. You're borrowing it. That's #2. So it's on time limitation. So I'm glad you get to enjoy it with me. I'm glad you share it with me for an intimate relationship, and I'm grateful. I get to be near it. I get to experience it. But I'm not attached to it because it's a gift. Your heart, though, that is what I get attached to because that is your character. That is your vibration. That basically determines your entire outlook. And Aquarius is going to be more concerned about your ethics because of your heart, because they understand that fundamentally life on earth can be made better if all of us were simply kinder to each other and more compassionate towards each other and treated each other as friends. And this is precisely why Aquarius sometimes treat their intimate relationships like friendships, because an Aquarius cannot do love with you, intimate love, in the absence of friendship. Because if you don't know how to be a friend, what kind of lover are you going to be? you don't even have the basics down. Like how to be kind, how to be forgiving, how to be generous, how to notice the little things about you and create magical experiences just for your enjoyment. Like that's what a friend is. They're invested in your well-being. So for Aquarius, without that, there can be no love. And they understand that this is what we're all here to spread on a global level. All of us are not that much different from each other when you look at the stats. And yes, sometimes we're told stories about each other that are, designed to make us hate each other, but we don't have to buy into that. We can still choose to stick to, hi Queen, we can still choose to stick to what we know is right, and that is being a decent, kind, loving human being. And without that basic understanding of friendship and connection on a human level, we cannot build anything together. We can't grow. We can't expand beyond the confines of our home. This is why Leo is a performer, because you're supposed to leave your home and open yourself up to the world. Okay? Cancer is supposed to stay in the house, but Leo is on the road, entertaining everybody all over the world. Because we're supposed to leave our home and open ourselves up to the world. And we cannot do that if we don't see friends in the world. If the only thing we see are enemies because they're different from us, they think differently, they believe differently, whatever, they look differently, then it's going to be very hard. Okay? So for Wednesday, that's what I want you to focus on. Your connections, your partnership, and how are you loving yourself, and how is that love reflected in the love you give everyone else? So that's all that I have for today. Thanks so much, guys, for coming to hang out with me. I'm going to be back on live. My goal is to do these more frequently. I don't want to promise every day because I've attempted to do that before and I'm not very good at keeping up with it because life is lifing and then I have to make changes. But I am going to try my hardest to at least do these, 3 times a week. 3 times a week, yes. So that at least I'm getting like some sort of routine around it, because these turbulent times that we're moving through, I don't want you to feel alone navigating them. Thank you for all my gifts. I want you to know what's going on and to feel like you're getting a little bit of an insight into the energies of the moment. So hopefully I'll be back on here on Friday to do this again with you.
For more astrology content, you may follow all of our YouTube astrology channels. The first one being at Ntuitive Healing for Astrology 101, at Styled Under Libra for Love, at Astrology Weekly for Horoscopes and Manifestation, and lastly, at Styled Under Virgo for Medical Astrology. You may check out intuitivehealing.com for astrology readings as well as healing crystals, and make sure to check out our manifestation group on Patreon at patreon.com/intuitivehealing. Catch you soon on the next video.